Most people believe they see others, but in truth they only see their own expectations reflected back at them. They look at faces, they hear voices, they observe gestures, yet they remain blind to the deeper language that speaks quietly beneath all appearances. Carl Jung once suggested that the greatest mystery is not the universe, but the human psyche, because inside every person lives a vast, hidden world filled with memories, wounds, desires, fears, instincts, and unspoken truths. And if there is one place where this hidden world leaks out more honestly than anywhere else, it is the eyes. The eyes are not merely organs of sight. They are openings through which the unconscious reveals itself. Long before a person speaks, before they choose their words, before they organize their thoughts, their eyes have already reacted. A flicker of discomfort, a brief widening, a downward glance, a sudden stillness. These are not random movements. They are expressions of inner states that words often try to conceal. To learn to read the eyes is not to become a magician or a mind reader. It is to become deeply present. It is to develop a sensitivity to the subtle language of the soul. Jung believed that every human being wears a mask, which he called the persona. This mask is the social face, the image a person presents to the world in order to be accepted, admired, or protected. But behind the persona lives the shadow, the parts of the self that are denied, hidden, or rejected. The eyes often reveal this shadow, even when the mouth speaks polite sentences. Imagine sitting across from someone who smiles warmly. Their lips curve upward, their voice sounds friendly, yet their eyes remain tense, restless, or distant. On the surface, everything seems pleasant. But beneath that surface, something else is happening. Perhaps they feel insecure. Perhaps they are hiding resentment. Perhaps they are afraid of being judged. The eyes tell a different story than the smile. If you learn to notice this difference, you begin to understand people at a deeper level. Jung emphasized that we often project our own unconscious material onto others. This means we see in people what exists inside ourselves. If you are carrying unresolved anger, you may interpret neutral eyes as hostile. If you are filled with fear, you may see danger where none exists. Therefore, the first step in reading the eyes of others is to become aware of your own inner state. You must clean your own psychological lens. A calm, grounded mind observes without immediately judging. It notices patterns instead of jumping to conclusions. It asks silently, what is being expressed here, rather than what does this mean about me? This shift is crucial. When you stop making every interaction about yourself, you begin to truly see others. The eyes communicate in layers. There is the surface layer, which reflects immediate emotion, joy, sadness, anger, surprise, boredom. Most people can recognize these basic expressions. But beneath this layer lies a deeper one, which reflects long-term psychological states. Chronic bitterness, suppressed grief, deep loneliness, unresolved trauma, quiet hope, inner resilience. These qualities shape the way a person's eyes look even when their face is neutral. Some eyes carry heaviness, as if the person has been carrying a burden for a long time. Even when they laugh, something in their gaze feels tired. This often belongs to individuals who have learned to be strong too early in life. They became responsible before they were ready. They learned to hide their vulnerability. Their eyes reveal a depth that words rarely touch. Other eyes seem restless, constantly scanning, unable to settle. This may indicate anxiety, a mind that is always anticipating danger or rejection. Such people often overthink, replay conversations, and struggle to feel safe in the present moment. Their eyes move quickly because their mind does. There are also eyes that feel empty, not in a cruel way, but in a numb way. This emptiness often belongs to those who have shut down emotionally as a form of self-protection. Feeling once hurt too much, so they stop feeling deeply. Their eyes may appear calm, but beneath that calm is disconnection. Jung believed that what we repress does not disappear. It goes into the unconscious and expresses itself in indirect ways. The eyes become one of these outlets. You cannot force the unconscious to lie. A person may carefully control their words, but controlling micro-expressions, pupil dilation, blink rate, and gaze patterns is far more difficult. However, reading eyes is not about labeling people or diagnosing them. It is about developing empathy. When you notice pain in someone's eyes, you do not use it as a weapon. You do not exploit it. You recognize that behind their behavior is a story you do not fully know. This understanding changes the way you relate to others. You become less reactive. When someone speaks harshly, instead of immediately defending yourself, you may notice fear or insecurity in their eyes. You realize their words are not really about you. They are about their inner struggle. Jung often spoke about individuation, the process of becoming a whole and integrated person. A key part of individuation is learning to see both the light and dark within yourself and others. When you read the eyes, you begin to recognize that every person contains contradictions. The kind individual also has anger. The confident person also has doubt. The cheerful person also has sorrow. The eyes reveal these contradictions. Sometimes you will notice eyes that shine with intensity, even in silence. These eyes belong to people who have a strong inner world. They think deeply. They feel deeply. They may not talk much, but when they do, their words carry weight. Such individuals often feel misunderstood because their inner complexity is difficult to express in simple language. Other eyes feel shallow, not because the person lacks intelligence, but because they have not yet turned inward. Their focus remains mostly on external validation, appearances, and social status. Their gaze may seek approval. They look at others to see how they are being seen. Jung would say that until a person confronts their unconscious, they remain driven by it. Their eyes reflect this unconscious drive. You may notice compulsive patterns, constant comparison, hunger for attention, fear of being ignored. These patterns show themselves in subtle eye movements long before they show themselves in words. Learning to read eyes also requires patience. You cannot fully understand someone in a single glance. You observe over time. You notice consistency. Do their eyes soften when they talk about certain topics? Do they harden when specific subjects arise? Do they avoid eye contact when discussing their past? Do they hold eye contact intensely when trying to assert control? Avoidance of eye contact does not always mean dishonesty. Sometimes it means shame. Sometimes it means social anxiety. Sometimes it means respect in certain cultures. Context matters. Jung emphasized symbolism and context in interpretation. No symbol has one fixed meaning. The same is true for eye behavior. Prolonged, unblinking eye contact can signal confidence, but it can also signal aggression or a need to dominate. Rapid blinking can indicate stress, but it can also mean excitement. Downward glances can suggest submission, but they can also suggest introspection. Therefore, you must combine eye observation with overall presence. Tone of voice, body posture, timing, emotional atmosphere. The eyes are a doorway, not the entire house. One of the most powerful aspects of reading eyes is recognizing when someone is not being honest with themselves. This is different from lying to others. A person may genuinely believe what they are saying, yet their eyes reveal inner conflict. They may speak about being happy, but their gaze lacks vitality. They may claim to love their job, but their eyes dull when they describe it. This does not mean you confront them and say, "You are lying." Jung warned against forcing unconscious material into consciousness too abruptly. It can be destabilizing. Instead, you simply hold a quiet awareness. You understand that they are not ready to face certain truths. And that is okay. When you develop this awareness, your own behavior changes. You become more careful with your words. You stop offering empty advice. You stop trying to fix everyone. You realize that each person must arrive at their own insights in their own time. There is another dimension to eye reading that Jung explored indirectly: synchronicity and emotional resonance. Sometimes you meet someone and feel an immediate, unexplainable connection or discomfort. Their eyes feel familiar, as if you have seen them before, even if you have not. Jung would say that such encounters often reflect unconscious similarities or unresolved inner material. You may recognize in their eyes a part of yourself you have not fully accepted. Perhaps their sadness mirrors your own suppressed sadness. Perhaps their arrogance mirrors your own hidden insecurity. The eyes become mirrors, not just windows. This is why reading others' eyes also teaches you about yourself. Every strong reaction you have toward someone's gaze is a clue. Attraction, irritation, admiration, distrust. These emotions are signals pointing inward. Jung famously said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate." Learning to read eyes is one way of making the unconscious more conscious, both yours and others. As you practice, You will notice that truly confident people have relaxed eyes, not wide in constant alertness, not narrow in suspicion, but open, steady, and present. They do not need to prove themselves. They are comfortable with silence. Their gaze does not rush. People who seek control often have tense eyes. They monitor others closely. They look for weaknesses. They struggle to relax. Their sense of safety depends on external dominance rather than inner stability. People who are kind from a place of wholeness have warm eyes. Not performative warmth, but a quiet softness. You feel seen, not inspected. You feel acknowledged, not evaluated. People who are kind from a place of fear have anxious eyes. They try to please. They look for approval. Their kindness is a survival strategy, not a free expression. Jung would not judge any of these states. He would see them as stages of psychological development. Every person is on a path, whether they are aware of it or not. The more you understand this, the less you personalize others' behavior. When someone ignores you, you look into their eyes and see preoccupation, not rejection. When someone boasts, you see insecurity, not superiority. When someone withdraws, you see self-protection, not coldness. This does not mean you tolerate harmful behavior. Understanding is not the same as excusing, but it does mean you respond from clarity rather than from wounded ego. Over time, your own eyes will change too. When you stop lying to yourself, your eyes become clearer. When you accept your shadow, your eyes become calmer. When you stop seeking constant validation, your gaze becomes steadier. People will begin to feel something different when they look into your eyes. They may not be able to articulate it, but they will sense depth, presence, and authenticity. Jung believed that the ultimate goal of psychological growth is not perfection, but wholeness. Wholeness means embracing your contradictions, strength and vulnerability, light and darkness, certainty and doubt. Eyes that belong to whole individuals have a unique quality. They are alive, but not frantic, soft, but not weak, intense, but not aggressive. They reflect a person who has made peace with being human. Learning to read the eyes of the person in front of you is therefore not a technique to gain power over others. It is a path toward deeper connection and self-awareness. You stop seeing people as obstacles or tools. You start seeing them as complex inner worlds, just like you. And in that recognition, something subtle shifts. You become less lonely, because you realize that behind every pair of eyes is a silent struggle, a silent hope, a silent longing to be understood. And perhaps, without saying a single word, when you look into someone's eyes with genuine presence, you offer them something rare in this world: to be seen. Thanks for watching. Please like and share this video.